Revenge is a must, where one heads get buried in dust. 6 foot deep when I leave a boy underdog, yeah, and me be that cost. Payback time, I show no remorse. On my guy, cause I like go bust. Bad mind them, they coming like Judas. Want see me on the nail and cross. Everybody listen, time on the way, the clock to tick. Everybody listen, time on the way, the clock to tick. Revenge is a must, where one heads get buried in dust. 6 foot deep when I leave a boy underdog, yeah, and me be that cost. Revenge is a must. I want them, I seek revenge and I want them. Revenge is a must, where one heads get buried in dust. I want them, I seek revenge and I want them. Revenge is a must, where one heads get buried in dust. Revenge is a must, where one heads get buried in dust. 6 foot deep when I leave a boy underdog, yeah, and me be that cost. Payback time, I show no remorse. On my guy, cause I like go bust. Bad mind them, they coming like Judas. Want see me on the nail and cross. Revenge is a must.
Дякуємо глядачам каналу Mercado Media за збір на цю автівку. Слава ЗСУ!
Dear friends of NAFO, my name is Pete, hasta la vista, from Project Constantine. This beautiful beast was donated to the brigade that we're friendly with in the forest, yeah, 67 Brigade. 69th Infantry Brigade donating to 67. It's pretty cool. I keep bumping into this vehicle in the forest. We never have time. We never have time to actually make any videos or get inside your vehicle and do any missions with it, because we're like passing ships in the night here. But Mercado Media, Andrew, you NAFO supporters, it's beautiful to see this grand vehicle that you've got for this brigade, because it's a reliable vehicle, and I've never seen it anywhere other than in the forest. I've never seen it in the garage. And yes to that, and all Ukrainians must live. Bakhmut is Ukraine. This forest is Ukraine. And Mercado Media and NAFO, you guys are here supporting us, man, and we freaking love you to pieces. Thank you for what you're doing for the soldiers of Ukraine. God bless you. To victory. Do перемоги.
All right, everybody, check into the stream today We got a good one coming in. We got a great discussion coming up with Operator Starsky and Pastor Greg Terry. I can see he's got Discord. We got the call ready to go. Just connect your cameras, Operator Starsky, and let me make sure this is connected here. There we go. There you go. Now it's on Discord. Make sure you guys' cameras are turned on, and I'll bring you guys on in. But as you guys heard, that's our campaign for the NAFO 69th Sniffing Brigade. We are at 22,000 euro out of 24,000 euro, you guys. We're literally like almost there, a little less than 2,000 euro left to go for 10 FPV drones and a NAFO truck 2.0, which is a better up-armored NAFO truck. They got drone jamming on it now. They've been working on upgrading these things for the past year, like every time. I'll go there right now. I bet you they got something brand new, which I do plan to go back, you guys, in May. Archer Ray already messaged me. He's like, hey, you on the May convoy? So that tells me I guess I got to be on the May convoy. So I'm going to figure out how to get that done. But we got this truck going, you guys. Absolutely amazing, amazing work. All right, let's bring them on in here. How do I might have to just, I got Starsky in here. I got to see Pastor Terry's, he's got his camera isn't quite yet turned on. Let me bring Operator Starsky on in here. 1 second. And also, everybody, check in, drop a comment where you guys are tuned in from. What city, what state, where in the world are you watching from? If you could leave a comment, I'd appreciate it. Okay, we got window, should be Discord. Yeah, there's Starsky. All right, now I'm just waiting for Pastor Terry to hop in with his camera.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, buddy. Do you have your camera?
All right, good. I'm working on the camera right now.
Okay, cool.
It's coming.
Well, for now, we have beautiful Operator Starsky on the full screen. There he is. How you doing, buddy?
Not bad.
Not bad.
They let me in back to the girls' dorm, so I have roof above my head at least for a while. And how are you, bro?
Bro, I'm doing all right, dude. I've just been trying to save money personally. I'm trying to get a better spot so that way I have better internet, because I've been having internet issues. My service went out completely. We were supposed to have a discussion with Dylan yesterday, but you needed some extra sleep. My internet cut out like all night until about 10 o'clock. So we didn't even have a discussion yesterday, but that's what I've been working on personally. And also, we have an event in Washington, D.C. coming up on Saturday that I plan to be at. So I canceled my Florida trip again for something Ukraine related. Because I was gonna go to Florida next week and actually take like a week vacation ish and like don't do as much work. But then I'm like, nah, I got to save the money for a better place, and I don't really have the money for a vacation anyways. Yeah. Like I do, but it's priorities for me.
Sounds great. Well, we'll see famous Florida man next time.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, next time. It always happens though around Ukraine, which is fine though. I think going to the 2-year event in DC, meeting other fellas and meeting other people that are connected and volunteering to try to help Ukraine. Like we have Pastor Terry that we're going to talk to today, and get what he's been up to. But bro, why don't you go ahead and just like introduce yourself, just in case we might have some newer viewers. I've been talking about some other topics, so we might have some new people on the stream tonight that might not know who you are, which that's kind of cool.
Sure, bro. So my name is Andrew, also known as Operator Starsky. I was a press officer for the 4th Operative Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine. Currently, I work with my Propaganda Study Institute in Europe, where I moved this month. And there's plenty of work to do here, considering the amount of pro-Russian puppets and influencers. And we will deal with all of them. So that's basically it.
Bro, why don't you? What inspired you to start this propaganda institute? Because I'm gonna say it, you had told me about it like in the summertime, but I had to be quiet and I did not say anything about it because it was a pretty big deal that you had been working on. So, what's really the driving factor? I mean, you've been basically doing this as a press officer, anyways. So is it just more of that? Now you have the freedom to kind of do what you want to do now without the military telling you what to do?
Yeah, because one way or another, if you're with the military, you are limited with what you can do. You're limited in your actions. Currently, I can dedicate all my time to my work, and the biggest reason is that if we lose the war in Europe, we lose the war in Ukraine. As easy as that. If we're left without support from our partner countries, from our allies, basically we won't be able to continue fighting without shells, without vehicles, without other supplies. And this is exactly what Russia wants right now. If you remember the last failed and cringy interview with Putler, or also known as Hulo, he basically said he transmitted two main messages to the West, which are stop supporting Ukraine, push Ukraine to negotiations. This is two main things that Putin is worried about the most. And if Ukraine stops receiving supplies, this is something very, very crucial for Putin, because Putin understands Ukraine keeps fighting, Russia collapses sooner or later. That's why he must do everything he can to stop supplies coming to Ukraine. And that's one of the things that we got to make sure that Ukraine keeps receiving supplies, Ukraine keeps receiving aid, military aid, humanitarian aid, but most of all, shells, weapons, long-range weapons, and things like that. So it's one of the things. Another reason is the threat of the Russian informational terrorism is insane, and not a lot of people understand the risk and the danger, because Russia is waging the informational warfare in European countries right now, in the US as well. And this is very, very dangerous, because basically Russia is using democracy and democratic values, trying to destroy democracy and democratic values, and we have to stop this, because the main goal for the Russian terrorists right now is to destabilize situation in within the European Union, within NATO, and sow discord in the democratic countries. If they succeed, if democratic countries start exiting European Union and NATO, this will put a lot of our allies, a lot of our friends at risk, insane risk, and this is something we should avoid, and we should protect democracy around the world from totalitarian regimes that give absolutely no shit about democracy, but they want to destroy it in the democratic countries.
As a press officer and somebody that engages in media, and now that you're doing this institute, before I'd say 2 years ago when I first started talking with you, or even last year, because of your military time, I tried to stay away from, oh, let's see what Starsky has to say about this new propaganda thing or this new thing. But and now it's kind of like your job, now, like, especially more so with this thing. So I might be asking you a bit more, but not like every day. But I think a lot of people were like that because we didn't want to bring, who wants to bring Starsky this nonsense when you have to put the uniform on every day and you had to go and do your job. It's like you're preaching to Starsky choir, right? You're there in Hostomel. But I think we're going to be very interested too with your takes on the United States and where we're going and how bad it is inside of the US. And a lot of people, I mean, I had started to change my personal beliefs from what I was seeing in 2020, but like people, it's like not even, it doesn't even naturally have to happen right now, because people like in my chat that used to maybe they were fans of Tucker Carlson, right? Maybe they like to hear an alternate opinion of internal U.S. things, but now they see Tucker Carlson in a Russian metro station and a Russian grocery store and is lying to Americans as to why it's so cheap in Russian grocery stores. Can you explain? I guess I'm trying to get, like, as a press officer, what do you categorize this? Is it Russia hybrid warfare? Is it Tucker Carlson voluntarily doing this because he just likes Vladimir Putin so much, or is he just trying to ask questions? What would you classify what we're seeing with Tucker Carlson in Russia right now?
Tucker Carlson is earning money, and I bet he's getting paid in sanctioned Russian gold. Currently, because Russia is a terrorist regime, and it was recognized as a terrorist regime in October 2022 by the Parliamentary Assembly of the Union, and later by NATO Assembly in November that year. Russia is a terrorist regime, and currently Tucker Carlson is trying to portray Russia as, beautiful, peaceful, democratic country made for people, where people live free, have freedom of speech, they're protected, basically everything that Russia is not. And he does it with a single purpose, to show that, to shift, to show that, no, Russia is okay, Russia is a great country, like China, like North Korea, like Iran. They're great regimes, right? Democratic, peaceful countries. And Ukraine is, this nest of Nazism and everything bad, right? The only worst country that you can imagine is America itself. So and later the European Union, NATO, and etc. So they're trying to switch to switch reality, basically, because this shit is insane. While Tucker Carlson was interviewing Putin, that very moment, Evan Gershkovich, American journalist from my God, Wall Street Journal, yeah, he was sitting in prison. Navalny, that very moment, was dying in Russian prison. Ukrainian kids, that very moment, on the Russian territory, were brainwashed and changed into Russian supremacists. Russian troops that illegally and absolutely unprovokedly invaded Ukraine. They were attacking Avdiivka, and Tucker Carlson was there, pretending that he was the only journalist who cared to ask Putin, motherfucker, the BBC in Russia attempted to interview Putin for 18 months, and they were rejected every single time, and they were not alone. So this is what happens in reality, and basically Tucker Carlson now became, for quite a while already, but he became part of the Russian hybrid warfare against America, against West, against democracies. So this is what's going on.
We just got Pastor Terry's camera came on. I just saw it there. I see you, Pastor Terry. There he is.
What's up, my friend? Nice to see you.
Pretty good. Starsky's giving us the spiel on American propaganda through Tucker Carlson right now. But why don't you, before we get into your takes on things, and I'm going to ask some questions, we're going to have viewer questions to you guys for Starsky and Pastor Terry. But go ahead and introduce yourself to my audience, Pastor Terry. Tell us who you are, where you come from, and what are you doing for Ukraine?
So I'm, I guess you can take it back. So we can make it easy. You don't even have to call me Pastor Terry. You can just call me PG, or you can call me Greg. Or if you really want to be cool in Ukraine, you can call me Gritsko. That'll work really well. Gritsko works very well. So you make me feel old when you call me Pastor Terry, so don't do that.
Okay, I'll avoid that.
I'm just messing with you. So yeah, I started working actually in Moscow in 1994. I'm 51 years old. I was teaching over there, started to learn the Russian language, and I'm very proficient in Russian. And then in 98, I was invited to Ukraine to start teaching there as well. And I absolutely fell in love with Ukraine, with Ukrainian people, with Ukrainian culture. And I began to really focus on that nation. I work in 38 nations, but I really focused on Ukraine. And I've spent over 4 years of my life inside this nation. And a lot of it has been in very specific times, such as the Orange Revolution, '08. I was here, and I was actually, at the time, I was in Khmelnytsky then. I was in one of the few Americans here in the city then. And the TV people knew I was here because I was doing some other stuff. So they interviewed me and said, can you come and talk about just your perception of the Orange Revolution as an American outsider? And I did. And built some good bonds there, good relationship there. And then next thing I know, I'm on Maidan. Just a couple days after it has unfolded, my partner, the president of our NGO here, he was there as a medic, pulling the guys off, risking his own life in the white shirts as the sniper bullets were flying out of the Hotel Ukraina. And 2016, I'm in Donetsk. I was one of the last flights into the airport, got out of there. And 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, we see that build up that begins to happen over those years. And I started streaming a little bit, goofing off during COVID, not doing anything serious, just current events, talking about things. And the day of the invasion, Zhenya and I were just talking about the war, potential war, the buildup on the borders, all of these things. And then while we were live, Zhenya goes, man, a missile just hit our city. I said, what? He said, a missile just hit our city. And at that very moment, I made a commitment to him. I said, okay, bud, we're in it for the long haul. I'm going to do anything I can. I now feel like my own personal country's been attacked. And if it was my country attacked, you'd be telling me the same thing. So we're here. We're going to help. I'm on the way over. And whatever we need to do, we will do. Little did I know that 2 years later, we'd still be doing this. Mm-hmm. I really thought, Zhenya thought 7 to 10 days, a flex of the muscles, there'll be a back down, and then life will continue in this hybrid warfare, not a full-blown war. We were dead wrong on that. Now we're pushing the 2nd year anniversary, but we have not slowed down. So what we do is we started from day one, just raising some aid, doing benefit sales, doing whatever we could do. But at that point, we learned early on that we do not ship anything to Ukraine and not hand deliver it. So it kind of became our niche that, due to my relationships there, especially a lot of military guys that I've known since they were little boys and now they're commanders, we hand deliver. So we literally hand deliver supplies along the entire front lines from Sumy, Kharkiv, down into the Donbass, Zaporizhia, down into Robotny. I mean, one of the guys I'm helping the most right now are the heroes trying to hang on to Krinky a little bit there. And you come over to Kherson, all of these guys, I know them all. I lost a lot of very, very dear friends today that were killed in the falling of Avdiivka. And today has been a quite difficult day. One I was just talking to the day before is now gone. I've had that happen so many times in this war, and it just gets old, to be quite honest. So we do that. We run aid. What is the aid? The aid is anything necessary to win the war. Anything from eyes in the sky with drone projects. We've got big projects going right now in what I'm calling the human hero rescue machines. It's the remote controlled tanks that can be equipped either with like a bed stretcher and then a hook behind it, or it can be mounted with a gun turret and it can go offensively on a sight line. It has a range of 50 kilometers. It's an impressive machine. I was right there where the guys were building it, and I unveiled it on one of my streams. I actually got up and took a ride on it. The thing is awesome. And so we're doing that. A lot of medical aid to the guys, the tourniquets, the real stuff, the Cat 7s. We take the Chinese junk off their Bronix, off their body armor. We put the Cat 7s on. You name it, we're doing it. We deliver everything that's possible. And right now, big push as well as the metal detectors, because you guys know that the guys cannot get to the front lines because they do not have the APC carriers in abundance. So they're driving their Lottos, they're driving their little pickup trucks to within 4 to 5 kilometers of their zero line, and then they are walking through the dark to get to it. Just 2 weeks ago, I did a walk on that. I walked to the zero line with my buddy, who is, his name is Call Sign Fish, and he says, all right, you're going with me tonight. We body armored up and a 5 kilometer walk to get to the zero. And I said, you do this every day? He goes, no, every 3 to 4 days. I'm on position 3 to 4 days, but we're going to be here one night and I'll get you out of here. But this is what we have to do to stay alive due to the drones, due to the mines that are dished up over the Ukrainian front line. So we're helping in that way in a massive way. At the end of December, some channels came together and decided that we would partner together to raise awareness. And if people would come together and purchase through our nonprofit. So in the States, we have a nonprofit 501c3 that supports Ukraine to the max. Here we have an NGO, basically. We have an NGO for real, but basically a 501c3 type organization where we can send money back and forth. And we've already dealt with all the Ukrainian red tape. So now the money is flowing, and I can tell you that I got the updated numbers today. I just received an air shipment of $79,000 that was bought off of Amazon in 6 weeks due to these communities coming together. And up to this point, we have raised $463,000. So we're pushing on $500,000, expect to be there very soon. And the joy of it is there's zero admin fees. There's no Red Cross. We lost it. This is here. We buy it here and we put it in their hands, period. That's it. Hand to hand. Ruku vuruku, toka.
It's the most important thing, having that direct assistance. And like, that's why I'm glad that your platform, I think lately, is it fair to say you've been trying to use Greg, use your platform more, go on more shows, like try to get more visibility on the work that you're doing? Is that fair to say?
Man, it's more than fair to say, Andrew. The bottom line is this. We really do have a method and a pathway where people around the world feel like they're a part of the solution by having a secure platform to donate, know that they're donating through a nonprofit, know that the money comes directly here with zero fees. And if you have marked it, well, 555, and we know all of our codes. Well, okay, you're buying a FPV drone, or you're buying a metal detector, or you're doing this or that. Not only that, we keep entire complete records of all of that with our office back in Pennsylvania. And if John Doe buys a drone, his name's written on the side of the drone. So it's drone John Doe. So we really have tried to make people feel a part and be able to witness their love in action.
And it's absolutely incredible. It's incredible work, whether it's through NAFO or whether it's through you, whether it's through Rick the Ukrainian and his, and Starsky's on there frequently. I'm loving to see that, and the Shills and the Boom Boom Fund. And it's just amazing work. What are, I'm going to ask the same thing to Starsky too here, but while we're with you, Greg, what are some of the things that you're assessing that's needed the most, like for tangible needs for the soldiers on the front lines?
So every circle we make, we start, so I base out of Khmelnytsky, that's central Ukraine. And we roll up to Kyiv, we meet with a couple of our commander buddies there, and then from there we head straight to Sumy. We go right to the zero line. In fact, I can tell you a couple of weeks ago, I actually put my toes in Russian sovereign territory because I went on a walk with the guys. And that was quite fun when we got to the post, and we crossed the post, and then they turned to me and says, "Did you look at the post?" I said, "No." They go look at the post. "Welcome to Mother Russia." And it was pretty cool. You know, you had those adventure. So, but there we learn what they have need of, and we do that in the entire line. I ask, and here's where language is a big advantage for me. I asked, okay, what do you need? And the answers are actually sometimes unique. For example, some units where the snow is still heavy are desperately requesting sleds and stretchers for the removal of their wounded. And we're talking the high-end nice ones. So what did we do? We went, found them, we bought them, we delivered them, we put them right in their hands. Period. Others, if not all, are requesting metal detectors. They are having problems getting to their positions due to the lack of APCs and safe transportation getting to that 1 and to that 0 line. So we are working with Ukraine. And in fact, the guy and the company here in Ukraine that manufactures the software, the code, and does the modifications for the mine detectors and the metal detectors modified to be mine detectors is actually here in our city. He's about 2 kilometers from me, and he supplies all we need. And the good thing about that is this: the software is up to date. It is adjusted to the needs. You know, Russia starts changing the construction of their mines. Now, you know, you can be buying a $30,000 mine off the shelf in Berlin, but by the time it gets here, it's not shooting the right frequencies. The software is not up to date with what's going on. So everything in regard to this type of warfare is done here, and it works the best. So that is done. Additionally, of course, FPV drones. We're working on a large project of that and placed our order yesterday for 50 FPV drones.
There you go.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
and
it's very, very important. The FPVs, the all that stuff. Starsky, what are you seeing? Or you have your ear to the pulse closer than most as well. What are you hearing?
Globally, of course, the biggest need is artillery shells and long-range weapons. Artillery shells are required for several reasons. Reason number one is when Russians are using jammers at the spans of the front line where you cannot use drones. This is where we require just dumb 155 millimeter shells, and we need a lot of them, that's globally. Locally, yeah, drones and vehicles. And one thing I would like to say is huge thanks to NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade, to you, bro, as well, to everybody who helps, who donates for this cause, and for everybody who delivers those trucks to our guys. This is tremendous help.
It absolutely, it's awesome to see you there too. When we bring the trucks and we see you or we see the soldiers, and they're just so appreciative every single time. It's never a question of that. It's always, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, like, why are you here? I'm from the U.S. Why are you from you came so far? Oh my goodness, you're helping. And it's just, I know it's just amazing every time. And it just inspires you to continue. Now, Starsky, let's talk about Avdiivka. Let's talk about the withdrawal from today. What are you hearing from that, if anything?
Well, the biggest rant is about the defense lines, because according to the General Staff of Ukraine, the troops withdrew and took control over the prepared secondary line of defense. According to soldiers, not all of them took control of those lines, because apparently some of them didn't exist. And this is something that we have to talk about, because we have to make sure that the government and people in control hear us, and they do everything they can to help our guys stay alive. So that's the thing. Yesterday we shot down 3 airplanes, 2 Su-34 Russian bombers and 1 Su-35 jet fighter. So apparently they approached the front line and like at the distance between 34 and 40 kilometers from the front line, they were shot down by Ukrainian air defense. 40 kilometers is approximate distance used to drop the gliding bombs, and in the past 48 hours they dropped approximately 100 gliding bombs at Avdiivka. It was insane. The guys that had to stay in the basements all this time, they reported that it's impossible to get out because of the constant shelling and bombing and the gliding bombs and white phosphorus and things like that. It's a hell. It's a hell, guys. And apparently this time they lost their sense of awareness, and they decided to use quantity over quality in frames of this airstrike, and they lost 3 airplanes at once. We have several theories, of course. Patriot system could be involved into this. Also, there's a modification of S-300, but it's in a different region right now, as far as I remember. Could be SMTP. Who knows? We will find out later about it.
Well, with the withdrawal of Avdiivka, certainly isn't, I guess you could say, it's not good news. Like, right? It's not something that would inspire good emotion coming from it. But prior to this, we did have good news from the armed forces with the naval drones in the Black Sea. And despite not having a navy, Ukraine just continues to destroy Russian warships. Operator Starsky, what can you tell us more on the information about that Russian ship? Because news is coming in so fast. It's like that just happened a few days ago, and it's already got forgot about. So it's a Saturday. We're just going to kind of hit on the topics that have taken place. What can you tell us of that Russian warship that was destroyed in the Black Sea?
Russian warship did it again. So it's a big landing ship. It's a troop carrying ship with the length of approximately 100 meters, able to carry several APCs and several hundred men. It was destroyed by 2 or 3 drones that crashed and exploded. We know that military intelligence service of Ukraine was involved into this. The drones were controlled by Group 13. Those are guys responsible for several similar strikes that happened previously. Another interesting fact is that this ship, Cesar Kunikov, it was destroyed on the same day the real Cesar Kunikov died in 1943, yep. Which means that the military intelligence service has absolutely sick sense of humor, and they are fantastic.
It was amazing. It was like a divine intervention. Like, how can you write that one up, right? The ship, the chat with Starsky, if you didn't understand that, again, is we talked about it. The guy that the ship was named after died, or he was killed, right? Wasn't he killed? Yeah, he was the same exact day. How many years prior?
1943.
1943. So, what? Shit, 70, 80, no, 70 years?
Everyone
79 years.
Everyone is struggling to count the number. I was sick when we studied mathematics in school.
I listen, and when math class started, I put my head down. I put my head down and my thumb up, and the teacher wanted to call on me to come and put my thumb down. But no, science and math I just struggled with. I was way better at the
81, I think.
Way better at the arts and science, and not science, arts and sports. But Pastor Terry, now, Have you? I know I understand what it's like when you're in volunteer mode and you're just busy, and your focus is really just what's happening in the day to day and on the ground and how you can best support Ukraine. Have you been able to see any of the because you're American, so I feel like I can ask you this one more closer with the internal issues within the United States and getting aid to Ukraine. Have you been keeping up on that at all?
Yeah, I've been keeping up on the disaster of my nation
Yeah.
and the loss of reality that there are people dying every day in Ukraine, and we're too worried about the idiots that are trying to preserve their own political future. And because of that, it's destroying worlds. And it comes down to this, you can call it MAGA, you can call it whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it this. It's called no sense of reality on the world or the planet in which we live, a lack of compassion, a lack of care. I don't care what party you come from. I don't care what religious background you come from. I don't care if you're red, yellow, black, green, purple, white. This is what's right. And what is right is helping a nation that is being wiped off the face of this earth. And if we can't get it together over that, because we're going to bicker and battle over stuff that is ignorant while people are dying, then we have a problem. But that's the easy statement. The deep statement, or the deeper statement, is this. Our country, you asked me to speak about America, our country is so woefully behind in the propaganda war. Russia has been preparing for this for 20, 30, 40, and 50 years. I was in Washington, D.C. I was invited there because I had been running the front lines so much. And I have a lot of friends that are deputies here in the Rada, and they were able to work where I was invited to go to D.C. I sat there with the ambassador, with quite a few military leaders and senators, House of Reps, and we just talked about Ukraine. And when it was my turn to speak, they said, okay, what are you seeing there? What are you doing there? We just want to hear it from you because you're an American, and evidently you go there a lot. So what are you seeing? So we're just talking about it. But the discussions ultimately in all of that turn to the power of the propaganda and how that the world is so not prepared for what is happening, and the strings that are being pulled most oftentimes are being pulled from the Kremlin, and the chess moves, the rest of the world is a couple behind. What people do not get is you cannot put the Soviet Russian mentality into a box and define it. It's indefinable. It's indescribable. And the only way you can battle against that is to destroy it. And that doesn't sound so good, but that's the only way that you can come out victorious against that trash that spews out of the Kremlin every day. And a huge part of the world sucks it in as truth. So the battle for us in America, yes, we can do what we're supposed to do. And that is, write your letters, write your senators, write your House, all of these things. Get out and protest, do something, become a part of some movement to keep the notoriety of Ukraine at the forefront of what's going on in our country. But with all of that said, until those that are in leadership understand that they're being played like a fiddle, it's going to be very difficult to turn this boat around. Not impossible, but very difficult. So right now, I'm to be quite honest, I'm ashamed of my country. And this has nothing to do with Democrat, Republican. This has to do with human. I'm ashamed of my country. My country stands for what's right. My country stands, Merc. I looked you up, bud. I know you are a veteran of our armed services, and you served a tour. So I thank you for your service. These are the things that makes America great, no different than things that makes Ukraine great. It's vitally important that at some point we wake up and realize there will not be a political solution to this. It's not possible. There must be a victory on the fronts of the war in Ukraine, the war in the media sector, the war in propaganda, and the war against corruption. It's a multifaceted war, and it's got to be fought. And that's where we're at. That's my thoughts on my country. I can tell you, in addition to what Starsky was sharing there about Avdiivka, that I was woken up last night. And by my partner here, Zhenya. We're very close friends with all of these commanders, and we actually support the 3rd very hard, 3rd Assault, 2nd Rifle Battalion, and they were not supposed to be there. This is public, so I can tell you, they were not supposed to be there. In fact, on Friday of this week, I was supposed to be completely outfitting them, 500 guys, with their modern IFACs, their thermals, everything, completely outfitting them. And the commander called me. He says, man, you're going to have to catch me down there. I said, I'll come straight to you. No problem. He goes, yeah, but my guys aren't ready. I need another week, and we're being pushed, and we've got to go down to Avdiivka. And I was there on the training grounds, and of course Starsky knows where they're located, and Merc, you do too, but I won't call it out publicly. I was there right with them, training, shooting their guns with them. I mean, hopping on the tanks. We adopted them, and we have such great access from all of this relationship. And today was a difficult day when I got the message in the middle of the night, and Zhenya messaged me and says, listen, you're getting some access to see what's happening right now. And I was sent some drone monitoring live, and it didn't take long to watch it. And I could see Avdiivka being destroyed, and then fell back to sleep. And then I woke up, and Zhenya called me, and basically tears in his eyes. He goes, man, we just lost 50 of our guys today. 50 of the guys that you were hugging, 50 of the guys that you were shaking hands with, 50 of the guys that we were taking tourniquets, that we were taking, everything they need, their IFAC, everything, we lost them. They had to rotate in too early, and they were not ready. They had no way to escape. And it's just a tough day in Avdiivka. And Starsky was right. That first defense line there, that should be that first line of protection on a orderly withdrawal, on a planned withdrawal, that's just not there. It's a 30 centimeter deep little trench dug by hand, and it's just tough in that area. We were just not prepared properly, but it is war. We have ups, we have downs, not losing hope, not depressed, just a tough day. Just a tough day.
Very, especially when you know the people directly there. It's not, it's a lot of people commentate on the war, and they have platforms that do, but they don't, it's not that they don't have, trying to put this in a respectful way, they don't have the additional connection that you do, or Starsky obviously, or others, or maybe myself too, because I went 10 kilometers outside of Avdiivka. We didn't go into Avdiivka, but I think about the artillery unit that we were with out there. Those guys are in their 50s and 60s, and they're out there, and they're so close. They're like a family out there. And it's just tough when it goes beyond just trying to support something that's, well, for you it's not far because you're in Ukraine, but like for me right now, I'm in Minnesota, or like many of my viewers are like in the US, it's like a far away country next to Russia or whatever. But like for us, it's like, man, those are people, those are family, those are friends, and it's really hard to come to grips with that. So definitely,
let me tell you what's a really hard one, and I know Starsky will know it, and you'll know this as well. But, right here on this phone, through secure communication channels, and they're changing all the time, I talk directly to the commander. And I mean, directly. We just, what you need, I'm encouraging him every day. We're chatting. And for the last 36 hours, my message is unread. And I sent it to him when I found out last night that they were right in the belly of the whale. And I sent him the message. I said, man, I'm right here. I'm with you. I will start driving to you this very minute. Anything to help you. And he still hasn't read it. And his colonel, whom I'm very good friends with, I've known him for 25 years, he messaged and says, Greg, I haven't heard from him either. That does not mean that he's gone. It does not mean that we lost him. But I don't like it that I've not heard from him. And I know you don't. So keep the faith. Keep the faith. So I keep looking at that, wanting those two gray check marks to go dark blue. And it's still not happened yet.
Greg, let me tell you one thing. as a person who knows how commanders operate, he probably barely has time to sleep right now, and he has a lot of work, not only with deceased ones and their families that he has to visit, but also with wounded guys, also with the supplies, also with everything. So I think that currently he literally has no time, and he has other priorities. Like he will
For sure, I
definitely
hope.
respond to you 100%. It's just he's overloaded with other more important tasks.
Absolutely. I definitely,
Good.
yeah. It's a
Thank you,
whole
Starsky.
additional tasks. Let's go to Starsky really quick on this. You had mentioned, Greg, when Americans with watching the war and the silly craziness from our government right now. Starsky, what are ways that we can destroy Russian propaganda coming from somebody that's so good at it? Between your skits. I mean, I don't know, maybe we do skits. Maybe that's an actually effective way because it's comedy and like more people will watch. What are some ways we can destroy Russian propaganda?
Of course, humor can destroy Russian propaganda 100%. Humor can destroy anything and anyone. But there's two big problems with the Russian propaganda. First problem is their resources, because Russians can invest insane amount of money, insane amount of oil/money into this. And for example, when we talk on a YouTube, in Twitter, anywhere, there's only so many viewers can see us and can hear us. When the propagandists like Tucker Carlson speak on YouTube, on Twitter, considering that Elon Muscovite also helps to spread this Russian propaganda. Tens, if not hundreds of millions can see that. So comparing to them, we have much less opportunity to reach the same audience, simply because we don't have such resources as Russians do. Just that, money can buy anything, and Russians prove this. And another thing is when Russian terrorists that give no shit about democracy, Russian terrorists who despise democracy, who despise freedom of thought, freedom of speech, who despise all other nations, like true Nazis, who hate you for just being American. When they use informational channels to reach American audience protects this, because they say if you want to shut them down, you are basically violating their rights for freedom of speech. You're suppressing their freedom of speech. Terrorists must have freedom of speech, you see. That's why when we are talking about countering Russian propaganda, we have to work with the governments. We have to develop solutions to shut the fuckers down, shut their channels. One thing is when you're talking to a civilized opponent during elections in a civilized country, democratic country, on a debates, it's normal thing. But when it's fucking terrorists who despise democracy and use democracy in order to destroy democracy in your country, it's a different thing. In their case, information is a weapon that is being used against you and against your future. That's why their channels of communications must be isolated and shut down 100%. That's why we have to work on creating such solutions, and this is something that my institute will be
Yeah.
working on,
Yep.
because we want to get in touch with governments, with European Parliament, and work with them to defend democracies against terrorists that dream to destroy those democracies.
And it sounds like a great idea. And you obviously, I love what you're doing. In the United States, like Russia capitalizes on this perfectly, because they will spin a propaganda and say this. If the United States has such an institute, it's basically like the Ministry of Truth. It already kind of happened, right? It already kind of, like, Biden administration wanted to create an anti-propaganda wing of the government, and immediately in the propaganda space, it was spun as this Ministry of Truth from 1984, the famous book and movie. And what do we do with that, Starsky and Greg? I'm gonna ask both of you for this. Do we just say F it and just do it anyways, and ignore the pushback that is gonna come with that, or how do we go about that? Let's go with Greg first as American about this, and then let's go to Starsky on that.
For that particular question, we have to ignore it, and we have to do what is right. That's of course my personal opinion, because we've developed into a society where nobody can even accept truth anymore. That's the problem, and it doesn't matter which tunnel you're looking down, which way you lean. Nobody can come together on any semblance of truth. There used to be, you have empirical data, you have hypothesis, you have theories, you test it. And okay, well, this says that this will happen. Okay, let me test it. If the test is positive, okay, well, then that's right. If the test is negative, well, then that is wrong. All of that logic is gone out of our window. We are driven by emotion. We are driven by, I don't want to call it a fear, but basically it is a fear. We have such a division in our nation, and it's full of fear that we are going to offend somebody. We're going to hurt somebody. We're going to do something that we shouldn't have done. We're going to call something white that was actually black, and black that was actually white. And what happens at the end of the day is we get nowhere. We live in complete chaos. I was sharing earlier on the stream with the Shills that what people have to understand is this is actually the socialist mandate. This is Marxism at its best, where it infiltrates societies. And the Soviet Union has been infiltrating the American system for decades and decades and decades. I actually showed a video coming out in 1959 of Nikita Khrushchev, and he came out of giving his speech at the UN, and then all the protesters were out in the roads with their picket signs. And you can look at my channel, see the videos there. The picket signs were saying, Russia committing genocide in Ukraine. Russia burning 4,000 churches in Ukraine. Russia, get out of Ukraine. Russia is not Ukraine. That was 1959. That was not 70s, not the 80s, not the 90s, 1959. So we've seen this historical pattern. So we know, just basic science, they've been spreading this message for decades and decades and decades. But then what happens next is they infiltrate and they begin to push an ideology, and it takes a generation or even up to 2 generations to bring about a change of thought. And that change of thought actually will move an entire society to not believe the same way that they used to believe. And it takes time to push it. The guy that developed that was Nemirov, I think. And after that first phase finishes, it then goes into another phase, and it's called economic disruption, where economics are disrupted, where things begin to go sideways in the country, and then defense industries are wrecked through no conflicts, which we've seen. I mean, look at what we left in Afghanistan. Look at what's happening in the world. We have plenty of equipment to give Ukraine. It's sitting over here rusted, even though it was designed to fight against Russia one day. It's coming out of the Cold War. None of this makes sense. That's where we would get to. And then the third thing that happens before the final one is the third thing that happens is you begin to have acceptance, where people accept this as the way of life, and then they believe the lie. This goes back to where I have told people so many times. Okay, I've worked in Ukraine for 26 years, and I know, Aunt Susie, that you love your nephew Greg. I know it. But Aunt Susie, I'm telling you, they're killing everybody. They're destroying every building. Greg, no, they're not. That's fake video from Russia. It's fake video. They're making all that up about Ukraine. Ukraine is killing Ukraine. I said, Auntie, no, you're wrong. And I can't even convince her because it's become normalized in her mind. And then you get to the final step, which is acceptance and normalization. And we have a major dilemma to battle against, whether it's in the United States, Europe, Russia, Ukraine. We're all having to deal with it. And that is why it is important that we support Ukraine 1,000,000%, because Ukraine and the heroes that are here, that are fighting, the heroes that today that laid their lives down, did not only lay it down for their wives and their children and even their grandchildren, they were laying down their lives for freedom, for truth. They were laying their lives down for your country. Wherever you're watching from tonight, these Ukrainian heroes know, I talk to them every day, that they are fighting not only for a free Ukraine, but they're fighting for a free world. They get it. And that is why they're so committed. If we can just supply them, they'll get the job done. They get it.
Absolutely. Russia sure knows how to manipulate the extremes and then try to drive the common sense folks to the extreme. Operator Starsky, same question to you about, I mean, there's probably, you created your own propaganda, anti-propaganda institute. So why don't you give your answer about, should America or like an entity in America go full speed ahead on a anti-propaganda institute?
Yeah, absolutely. You should do that because, as Greg said, it's really hard to accept any sort of truth. But the reality is that Russia does not give it the truth. There's only one truth: Russia invaded Ukraine, and everything, all other bullshit about biolabs, about genetically modified ducks sent to kill Russians. About the genetically modified locust from America that was brought to Donbass. Like, guys, I was talking about those things in my updates. It's really there on the TV, and they find people that are stupid enough that believe that. And the problem is that those people can vote. So we just have
Starsky?
to, yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you, but when you're done, I got something that'll accentuate your point.
So the problem is we have to explain people that that is not the truth, that is a bullshit, because and explain why it's bullshit. At least we have to do that thing. And for example, on Twitter, there are those community notes next to every post that it helps to fight Russian propaganda big time. And I think we have to implement something like that in the real life as well.
Yeah, and ironically too, I like that idea too. But you see how they're manipulating the community notes now by downvoting it to try to get it removed off of posts. I feel like we could have a whole Twitter video every week where we talk about this week at Twitter and just go over the garbage that is just shilled on that platform. It's insane. But yeah, definitely, as long as it's got to be a system that can't be gamed by bad actors. And in the United States, that's going to be the big debate, is like, who's in charge of it, who's running the thing, like what's their I want it to happen, but I can already see the nightmare that would come with it. Now, Greg, you said you had a caveat to Operator Starsky.
I have something that'll even just accentuate and validate his statement even more. So this is my third run here. I run the lines 3 to 4 months straight, go back home, try to rest up a little bit, then I come back and we go again. and it's nonstop. So on the first time I came over, right after the war got going, I have some good friends down in Atlanta, Georgia, and they are actually a security company. And they actually rescue ladies from human trafficking, and they're made up of all ex-military guys and really good military guys, Americans. And I know the owner really well, so he called me. He says, "Greg, you know, you're going to Ukraine. You realize that's a war?" I said, "Yeah, I realize it's a war." "Well, I'm a little concerned about you. Let me provide you with a security guy. This guy runs security for state senators, and this guy did 3 tours in Iraq. This guy was Special Forces. Let him just go with you. We'll take care and pay all of his expenses, and he'll just be there with you. He'll never get in your way, but he'll always have your back." I said, "Okay, why not?" So he met me here in Ukraine, and I was here for 3 months on that first run. We made it into the 3rd week, and as we were going around the front lines dropping aid, he started making these little comments. He goes, "Where are the biolabs?" Just hear me. "Where are the biolabs?" So Zhenya and I turned to him and goes, "What biolabs?" He goes, "Well, I know they're here somewhere. I mean, I know they're here." And we looked and said, "What do you mean you know they're here?" He goes, "I know they're here." I said, "How do you know they're here?" "Because it's on our news. They're here." I said, "Okay, dude, there are no biolabs here. And one more statement like that, and I'm going to put an AK upside your head and you're out of here, dude." That's it. He said, "Okay." We drive around a little bit more. We finally get over, and we are over in Seversk. And it was pretty hot that night. And we had an incoming KH-101. And we're up in an apartment building. And the apartment building that I was staying in, the floor is leaning like this. So you're kind of sleeping with your head up this way.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in there crying. Like, and the dude's a stud. Like, why are we sleeping in this building? The air alarm's going off. He goes, "This is dangerous." I said, "Man, this isn't dangerous. They've already hit this building. This is the best one to sleep in. They're not going to hit it again." So he said, "Okay." Next morning, that joker got up, called that company in Atlanta and said, "I'm out of here. I heard a missile and I'm scared to death." He left the country. No problem. Where am I going with this? 3 months ago, he was interviewed on a relatively well-known television program in the southeastern part of the United States in Atlanta, Georgia, where he was interviewed to tell his experiences of running the front lines of the war in Ukraine. Never once did he mention me bringing him here. Never once did he mention anything. But here is what he mentioned. He goes, "You know, I saw buildings that looked that they could be like biolabs.
Oh my God.
I saw this. I'm telling you, bro. I saw this. I saw that." So the commentator asked him at the end, okay, and the commentator asked him at the end this question. "Okay, you were an American hero, Special Forces, 3 tours. You went and ran the front lines with those people. At the end of the day, who is right in this war? Who is wrong in this war?" And this was his answer. He said, "Both are wrong. Ukrainians are killing Russians. Ukrainians are killing Ukrainians. Russians are killing Ukrainians. Russians are killing Russians. They're all wrong." That was his answer. He was here.
Yep.
This is what we fight against.
Yeah, I've had personal experience too. I mean, I've called one person, I'm not going to say who, but they trained Ukrainians, and then they're advocating for, this to Greg, for peace deals. Like, they're on their platform saying it pissed me off because they had a frontline defender on call in, and then their message is to make peace, as if that is the solution to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So I mean, that's why I have a gaming platform and why I have other things to try to maintain my mental health about it, because it does trigger me. Like it really does it gives me a headache. It makes my my face gets super hot and like I come out of my body. Like I come out of my comfortable body every time around it. So it's just a space where yes, I think we need to address it, and we maybe again just having more discussions. And everyone always says have more discussions, have more discussions. But I feel like the discussions need to be specific. The discussions need to be precise, not dancing around the topic, not like tee hee hee. I don't know, playing footsie around it. It needs to be very very specific and uncomfortable. And we need to have uncomfortable discussions, not just have discussions like but most people will say that we need to just like Tucker Carlson. We'll have more discussions. Then he goes and has Putin give a fake history lesson from, oh my god, dude, I watched that whole interview and I nearly lost my mind afterwards. Like, I watched the whole thing and reacted to it, and it gave me mesothelioma after, I think. So
mesothelioma.
Yeah. So
come on, bro. There's a patch. There's a patch for that.
Oh my god. All right, so I have a couple of questions specifically. Let's go to Starsky here. I have 2 questions for you through super chats. From Brent Brent N. This is a military related question. You can answer it at whatever discretion. Do you think Russia will try to push out of Horlivka and storm Toretsk after Avdiivka's success? Also, is Russian position at Avdiivka vulnerable to counterattack?
The last time I was around Horlivka in 2020, so I cannot tell you much about the situation there right now. It was 4 years ago.
Wow.
But currently we know about the big, massive, let's say, Russian counterattack happening along the front line. So that is possible. I wanted to briefly tell you my story. 2021, we have this amazing, famous handgun instructor. She trained Olympic teams for Ukraine, and she was officially employed in my brigade. She was a fantastic instructor, and she was working with our officers. She was working with our NCOs and our special forces. And the other day we were going to the training camp in the same vehicle with my commander and her, and we were just chatting. Again, we're talking about 4th Operative Brigade of the National Guard, and we were chatting about this and that, and she is like, by the way, the American biolabs are true. I read about it. And there was a video about a woman that, went into this office and raised a scandal and started arguing with the employees, with the staff, like those biolabs are real. My commander is like, are you insane? He opens stopfake.org and gives her like all the information that debunks that bullshit. And basically people don't even understand how do such biolabs should look like. You gotta just Google similar biolabs, find them on Google Maps, just take a look at them from like the bird's altitude, right? And see all those massive structures, all the filtering stations, all the like lines of defense around them. You cannot build a freaking biolab in a basement, right? Of a school or a church in Ukraine. It doesn't work like that. So it was back then, 2021, my brigade, my experience. So we had this misinformation happening years ago. So that's the story.
It's been the biolabs started in 2020. That was a common one. I heard that constantly, right? It was a lot of the propaganda garbage that's taken place is kind of like morphed into this giant now message where it's like they can pick out of anything at any time. Like, okay, remember this one? Or you know, Nazis or whatever. The doming of the bone boss for 8 years or something. Like, it's just pulling it out of a hat now at this point. And so many people have heard so many messages that were, oh, it must be true. I've heard that from someone a couple years ago. I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember the biolabs, and not even remember that it got completely debunked. They just remember the word biolab, then they hear it again now, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. And they don't even remember the fact checking, or they didn't even go to fact checking. They just heard the propaganda take on it and ran with that. I have a question for both of you guys. It was asked to Starsky. Oh no, yeah, this is a question. It was asked to Starsky, but I'm gonna have both of you answer. This is from Will. Let's go to Greg first, and then Starsky. How are guys feeling on front? What's the morale on the front line? I know this is a common one, but people in the United States are interested in this one a lot.
All right, I can tell you. Energized, excited, waiting for stuff, but confused and
Tired.
tired. That's the fifth one. Thank you, sir. That's the fifth one. Exhausted. That's the word I was looking for. So the guys are excited as they can be in the situation that they are in. And of course, it's different in different frontline areas. This frontline is 1,000 kilometers long.
Mm-hmm.
All the guys are tired. All the guys are anticipating help to come in the form of stuff. And the reason I use the word confused is because of the timing of this transition of leadership. And I have no personal comment on it. I'm just relaying. I'm with the frontline soldiers nonstop. It was just a little confusing as to how it happened, the timing of it happening, and because most of the guys I look to work with, I asked them point blank, they says, man, maybe we need a new general, maybe we need a change, but we liked Zaluzhny, we liked him, and it's just hard for us to switch. And then when you throw on top of that, right at this very moment, when Avdiivka falls, it brings a little bit more confusion. Well, the lines were not dug. Well, that would not be on Starsky. That would actually go back to the former leadership. Those lines and defensive lines should have been in place weeks and weeks and weeks ago. And I can tell you specifically, and I'll drop this one on you specifically. The guys on the ground, starting 6 weeks ago, and even up till about 10 to 7 days ago, and I'm talking ground generals, ground level, were telling Kyiv, we need to give Avdiivka away, and we need to pull back, defend up, save as many of our guys as we can. We do not have enough munitions. We do not have enough artillery, and we do not sacrifice our guys for no purpose. And that message was received, but not implemented. And I received a direct personal message from a colonel of the third. He's in the third, and he said, "Man, this one's hard to swallow, but I'm a soldier and I'm going to obey it. But I disagree with this. I've known this guy 25 years. I disagree with this one. I need to get my guys out, but I can't." And he lost some of those guys today. So that right there, just the timing of all of this has brought some confusion to the guys. But I will tell you this, and this is the most inspiring thing they say, and they all say it. Because I go around and I'm knowing them very personally now, very personally. And I walk into their home where they're staying. Greg's here. They call me Gritsko. Okay, so Gritsko. And then Gritsko. I say, hey guys. I said, anything changing? And I'm speaking Russian to them. Anything changing? No, we're going to win, man. Okay. And this is the question I've been asking them lately. Any chance of us quitting? And they answer 100%. Never.
Mm-hmm.
We're fighting for our country. We're fighting for our families. We're fighting for this world. We're fighting for other countries. And most importantly, we're fighting for our brothers and sisters who have already laid down their lives for this battle, and there is no way we will dishonor them and quit. We're fighting. That's what I hear everywhere.
Operator Starsky?
Yeah, Sam, I agree on that. Guys are tired, exhausted, but at the same time, it takes effort to bring a Russian invader to Ukraine and convince him that he must be here to kill Ukrainians. There is no effort in bringing Ukrainians because we were always here. This is our land. This is our main motivation. We're fighting for the families that are behind our backs, so there's nowhere to retreat for us. And guys are motivated. Guys will not quit. But of course, the second year of war it's exhausting.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
I was gonna say, as a former U.S. soldier, we had guaranteed 30 days a year, right? Which in American soldiers would complain that that's not enough for us, right? They'd be like, man, we only get this much. And you got to think, in 2 years, maybe 10 days, Starsky, right? In 2 years, how often have the frontline soldiers had leave? Maybe 10.
Yeah. So in 2022 we had no leave.
No
In
None.
2023 we were given already 10 days, then 30 days. Currently, I think it's a bit more even, because my guys have opportunity to go home, see their families, have some rest. I think it's more than a month, actually. So yeah, they have chance to rest. They have chance to receive medical treatment, treat their wounds, treat their traumas, and it's really good.
I'm glad to hear that for your guys. That's really positive to hear that news, Starsky. Excellent broadcast tonight. Thank you, Jennifer. Leathercat, of course. Propaganda question from Rope Access. Russian propaganda seems to affect Central Europe more than Northern Europe. Is it the Russians' lack of language skills that is the cause of that? Starsky, do you have a take on this? I'm not. I don't really know how Europeans are affected by Russian propaganda. I know how Americans are. I can talk about that, but I don't know much about how Europeans are really affected.
Bro, can you repeat the question, please?
Of course, bro. So Russian propaganda seems, this is from Rope Access, Russian propaganda seems to affect Central Europe more than Northern Europe. Is it the Russians' lack of language? I think I might have lost the call for a second. All right, hold on. Starsky and oh man. Wow. And it dropped. This is crazy. I keep losing my internet back and forth. Are we back, you guys? I lost both. Hold on, let me reconnect this thing. Hold on, no.
Guys,
Okay.
I have no idea
Starsky.
what the difference.
There's Starsky.
You have to work with the nationals. You have to work with people who understand their mentality, and you have to develop the strategy, the communication strategy, according to the local mentality. Russians do that, and they do that well. Trust me.
Appreciate that, Starsky. I lost my connection there again for like a couple minutes. I bottomed out completely. That's why I'm saving up for a new place, dude. I'm so sick of this. Whole internet just like cuts like while I'm streaming multiple times. I think it's a targeting thing. I think I'm being targeted by somebody. But I'm getting a new place soon, so I'm not gonna have these problems anyways. But thank you for sharing that. Could you just reiterate a couple of your key points one more time? Because I think my stream might have cut off, Starsky. So just reiterate a couple of your key points from that.
Yeah, I was saying that 100% Russians know how to work with Northern European countries because they understand their mentality, and that's why they're working not with them, but with a specific part of the audience, which is mostly Russian diaspora in Baltic countries. And this diaspora is used as a tool in the hybrid warfare. Do not underestimate Russian ability to work with the nationals, work with the focus groups in those countries they want to influence, because they do that well.
Yeah, we see it with the United States. They know the specific groups to target. They don't even care about targeting the other people. All they need is just their base that they know is it's going to work with, and then they plant the seeds, and it takes off on its own. Really, really crazy process to see. Thank you for the question, Rope Access, and thank you for the answer, Operator Starsky. I have another question. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
Bro, yeah, I wanted to say I'm really, really sorry. I really have to go to sleep right now.
Yeah, bro, get some sleep.
It's it's 4 a.m. here, and now that it's almost 5 in Ukraine right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So, guys, I will be GTFOing. Before it happens, I would like to say thank you, Greg, for being with us. Thank you for sharing your experience, Andrew, bro. Thank you for inviting me. It's always a great pleasure. Third time is a charm, because I know that we planned to do this for like several times already. Every time I failed because I was falling asleep.
Understandable. The time difference is insane. So, and the 2 p.m.
Yeah.
the 2 p.m. streams do work better. It's just this is my main time, but I can always host a 2 p.m. stream too, as long as the shills or Ukraine matters or Rick isn't on a day. It might be easier. You might have some more energy and be awake. I can host
don't worry, bro. I found like a store with some really strong energy drinks, so I'll be up at least for an hour or two. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
And also, I would like to say thank you to our viewers. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for being decent, and for being honest and friendly, and for being true people. I always said that when this invasion started, we never expected democratic countries to support us so much. But today I've been to Bonn to the museum of German history. And in this museum, they have exhibition dedicated to Ukraine, which is insane. And it's a big piece of museum, literally dedicated to Ukraine, to the Russian invasion of my country, and it's amazing. After this war is finished, Ukrainians will never forget your support. People who don't have anything, like any relation to our country, but you have sympathy, you understand our pain, and you help us because this is the right thing to do in the civilized society, and Ukrainians will never forget this. So thank you so much, guys, and good night. See you next time.
All right, bro. Peace out, Starsky. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Operator Starsky, always a great guest on the platform when we're able to have him. All right, now Greg, you get to solo answer questions now. Let me
No problem, brother. I was going to show you this thing right here.
Yeah. Upper show. I have to readjust the image quick. Anyways, go ahead.
So this is a coat from a soldier who was in Avdiivka 4 days ago. He was given a 2-day leave to get married.
Wow.
I was invited to his birthday party. And when I went there, he pulled his jacket off of his back and he says, Greg, I want you to have my jacket. This jacket has been all over Avdiivka with me. And it's my good luck charm. And you came to my wedding and I want to give it to you. It shows you the character. And of course, I didn't want to take it. But he looked at me and he says, and you don't have an option to not take it. Okay, so you will take it. I have another one. This is for you. Thank you. That was his first day off in 18 months.
Wow.
First day. And he had 2 days coming to get married. And he was unable to get back to his group due to Russia's assault on Avdiivka over the last 24 hours. And he's still alive, but he lost a lot of his members. And that story it's a twofold story there about how much time do these guys get off. It's very little, and it's because Ukraine needs more soldiers. But secondly, you can just see how one little moment in time can save your life, can kill you, can give you a wrong observation, can give you a proper observation. And we have to really be focused. So important to focus on all the opportunities that are presented to us as people to help Ukraine and not miss one of them.
What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned that you might not have had prior to helping the front lines of Ukraine and helping the frontline defenders?
Okay, I've been asked a lot of questions, but that's a really good one. that my answers are not always right, that my thought processes are not always right, and that it's okay to be a learner, and it's okay to learn from others who know more than you, and it's okay to pay attention to those that have more experience than you. It'll keep you alive, and it'll keep you maturing, and it'll keep you growing. Some of the greatest things I've learned is running the front line is that the easiest road is not always the best road, that you do not need GPS to get to where you need to go when it's not working because of the EW that is smashing all GPS signals within 30 kilometers of the front line. And that for me, when a Ukrainian soldier tells me he has my back, I don't even turn around. I know he's got it. Mm-hmm. And over these 2 years that we've been running aid to these guys, I've finally come to the point when I tell them I've got their back, they don't turn around anymore. And the trust factor. And Andrew, I know, man, from your serving in the military that there is camaraderie that you will have for the rest of your life. There are relationships that are built. I mean, every group that I am bed with, the commander just gets out of the bed and he gives me his bed. And I say, no. He goes, it's no option. You're in my bed. I'm going to the other bed. And, it's just the care and the love that even in the middle of a hellish war, people are trying to be human. And now I know that you know about Pete, right?
Yeah.
Project Constantine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Pete and I are now big buddies. And so we talk every morning. And I will see Pete here in a few days. Pete is one of those guys that has had no rest. He's South African. Also has a British passport. He's stinking Rambo is what he is. He's an amazing person. And so he called me and he says, Greg, he called me this morning and he says, man, when are you coming? I just need 12 hours of your time. I need 12 hours where I could sit down with you and not deal with this war. I need a break. I need a mental break. I go 24/7. I said, okay. I said, Pete, I'm leaving Tuesday. I'm coming straight back to the front, and I'm gonna give you choices. Can you get 24 hours off? He goes, absolutely, I can get 24 hours off. I said, okay. And there's no OPSEC here because I'm talking about the future. But I said, okay, meet me in Kharkiv. Okay, I'll meet you in Kharkiv. And so what I'm going to do for Pete, and if you guys don't know Pete, you know, Andrew's done stuff with Pete. I have some videos about Pete on my channel. He's unbelievable hero. And I'm getting him a hotel room with a nice hot shower, going to buy him a nice dinner, going to just kick him back and let him sleep in a normal bed with normal heat, get up and have a nice breakfast, and just relax and be a human for about 12 hours. And I told him that today, and the man started crying like a baby. You don't know what that means to me. So what do I learn on the front lines is that we got good people here, and we just need to stand with them.
Yeah, it's a reminder of reality and humanity. We live on an internet-based world now, and we get lost of what humanity is on the internet. It's easy to tell someone to go F off if you don't know them, but like when you're talking to people on the ground in the front line in a war, it's like you'd think people would be assholes out there, or like hard charging, or it's like an environment. You know, it's not an environment you want to be in. But yeah, when you're with people that you're working together to try to accomplish a goal, it's you can have good times out there. You can joke around, make friends. Like you had mentioned, I'm still friends with my squad from when I was in the army. We play fantasy football together still to this day. Like I talk to all of them still. So you know, very very relatable with that experience. What are some things that so have surprised you so far? What are some of the biggest surprises? You said what you've learned, but what are some things that you've learned, but it took you by a surprise, maybe because it's still a learning experience?
Yeah, I'm I'm surprised at the difficulty sometimes. I'm surprised and not surprised. So guys, you know, Ukraine, no different than any other nation. America, we rank right up there with them in the battle against corruption. Okay, it's just the way it is. European countries, African countries, it's governments many times have to deal with corruption. And Ukraine is fighting a war against corruption, and they're doing it well, but that fight against corruption is making it difficult for those that are here, like doing what I do, doing what you do, Merc, when you coming in, giving aid, helping. They make it a little challenging now. For example, you know, we have a nonprofit in the U.S., 501c3. We have an NGO here, non-governmental organization. And now with so much money being donated for bigger projects, whether it be the human rescue tanks or drones or mine detectors, whatever it is, you start talking bigger money. And so we've been legal for years and years and years and years. And we sent over our first large chunk because we're going to do the 50 drones to start and these metal detectors and all this jazz. And it's here in our account. And then at the same time, our air shipment arrived with $78,000 worth of frontline medical supplies. So the government comes to us as we're coming back into town here and says, okay, we need all those pallets unboxed and individually counted and weighed. And we told the government here, we said, we have a bill of lading. We have documents from US, we've got customs document, we've got MEAS documents. They go, we know, but now we have to see exactly how many pieces to the one, because then you're going to have to account for them one by one as you go hand out 1,000 tourniquets. Everyone's got to be accounted for. And so we have a good buddy here that I've known him since he was a kid. He's now a pretty powerful lawyer in this city. And I said, dude, you got to fix this. He goes, Greg, I'm going to do everything I can, but this is the war we're fighting. Even with the people trying to help, it's difficult for us to make it easy because we have so many that are abusing it. And it's not about corruption in Ukraine. It's about people who are trying to profit off of this war, and we're trying to demolish them. I said, I know, man, but listen, you got to do something. I'm not having my team over here count 1,000 tourniquets. 1, 2, 3. I said, that's not happening. And he says, all right, let me see what I can do. And then we had to go through about a week of processing of documentation, signing documents, doing all these stamps, just so that we could start buying the stuff with NGO money to NGO money. And it just takes time. So I'm a little surprised that after being here helping this long, that process has not improved to be more streamlined, but it's actually went the other way. Now, it's not going to stop us. It's not going to stop us. We're going to make it. But while we're having to do that, we're not getting the aid to the guys that need it. So it's a problem. That's the biggest surprise, that they've not been able to streamline it and make it easy.
That's what I am hoping to, because I've talked to the frontline soldiers, and with the changes at the command too, a lot of the bureaucratic problems, just how slow things would get done, or when you made a request, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It's like, I can't have that. So the bureaucracy is definitely very slow in Ukraine. I definitely noticed it too the last time we came through in December, but they had announced that there was going to be a change, but the change is horrible. And we had to go in, and everybody in the trucks, because we had at least one person per truck, and we're coming across with like 15 to 20 trucks, and that's one person per truck is to get out, and like everyone has to go into the customs person now, and like they look at your pass, and it just takes, oh my god, it just adds hours to the trip now when we got through. And I don't know what it is now. Hopefully it's smooth, but it was it's just things like that.
You gotta play the game a little bit. I came across the border. I came across the border loaded, and I do have an advantage. I can speak Russian. So I came across the border. I was loaded. I mean, I had probably $20,000 worth of tourniquets in my bags, because I brought these extra bags, and we just paid for them through the airline. And I popped a train from Kelm into Rivne, and then I jumped out there with my buddy and came down. Well, in this game, we started rolling. But when I crossed the Polish border coming into Ukraine, I had all these bags. So my guys had rented me a full first-class coupe. It has the 4 beds in it on the train, so I had gear everywhere. And I had it all arranged, nothing open. And when I got on the Polish side to come into Ukraine, the Polish border guard came and said, let me see your passport, and gave it to her. And she goes, in English, she goes, you helping Ukraine? I said, yeah. She goes, all right. No more questions from me. Crossed into Ukraine, and you go 5 kilometers into Ukraine. And I was really pleasantly surprised, to be honest with you. This is a good story, not a bad one. The first lady came by, and she was the passport checker. And she looked at my passport. Now, what I had done in Ukraine is I took all of my bags and I turned them up on their side. So if I needed to open them, I could open them quickly. But I have my backpack. And on my backpack, I sat it on top of the bags. And I actually have original Azovstal patches I was talking a lot with Volin during the Azovstal siege. And so I actually have 2 Azovstal patches that were worn under siege. And I've got one now because I donated one to Rick for a fundraiser, and that patch raised like $5,500.
That's what I heard. I heard that.
It was crazy, but nobody's getting my last patch. So
it's tough.
That one's gold.
Yeah, it's same with me.
That patch.
People wanted me to. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to Ukraine and get duplicates of some of these so I can keep. Go ahead. Go ahead though.
That patch, everybody knows. So you got the fake Azov patches, but this one, they know it's the Azov from the Azovstal. So I have it on my backpack. So the customs lady, the passport lady came through. She just poked her head in and said, "Give me your passport." And she's speaking Ukrainian. I understood her enough to do that. I gave it to her, and she came back and says, "Okay, no problem." Well, here comes the customs guys. 2 of them. They open the door and they look in. They see all these bags. They start speaking Ukrainian. So I speak back to them and I said, "Прости меня, но на русском или английский? Мой украинский плохо." So I said, "Man, speak to me in Russian or speak to me in English.
I don't speak.
I'd like to speak Ukrainian, but it's pretty bad." And he laughed. He goes, "Okay, we'll do Russian." He looked at me and he says, "Why do you have all those bags?" So my answer was, "I'm going to be here a long time." "Yeah, but you're not a woman." That's what he said. You got 30 dresses in there?" I said, "No, but I got some very special things for our guys, and I need to get it to them." He looked down, and then he looked at my backpack, and he saw that Azovstal patch, and he goes, "How did you get that?" I said, "I've got friends." He goes, "Then I've got no more questions.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping. Thank you for helping our country." Never opened a bag.
Mm.
So there are good things that are happening. So I don't always want to paint a net. There are.
Oh,
It's a slow move, you know.
and the front line's so long too. Whenever something major does happen, it's going to take the attention. Like obviously, right now, the withdrawal of Avdiivka will actually likely militarily benefit Ukraine, but it's the Russians are going to take advantage of it emotionally, right, and try to like be toxic about it, make Avdiivka become all of Ukraine, basically all the same stuff they did with Bakhmut last year. But Ukraine's actually doing something different, so that's a positive with that. But my similar story too on the way home. On the train, you already know on the way home, they go through your stuff on the way. The Ukrainian soldiers do, then the Polish border guards do, and it's just a long experience. Yeah, they saw that I had what was the 77th Air Mobile patch on my backpack, and one of the guys knew a guy there or something, and he said, "Oh," and he literally was opening my backpack and then stopped and then put it back and said, "You're good," and gave me my U.S. passport back and said, "Have a good day," and then went about his business. So, yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a military ID that I was given on my first tour here, actually straight out of Zaluzhny's office. And it is a military press ID. And it's like my ace in the hole. But I don't even pull it at all now.
Mhm.
Never. Because I don't need to. And I'm running through these checkpoints so much. I know a lot of these guys and they know our truck. But when we get there, I don't even have to go to that level of a document. When they see that American passport and the next time you're here, you're going to experience that. It's like, I'm telling you, Ingenia and I, we just said, okay, these guys have been told somewhere that if you see foreigners here with foreign passports, leave them alone and let them help. I'm telling you, it's changed for a positive. So it's another positive. They're very appreciative. Very appreciative.
I had that experience, like I mentioned, when Starsky was here. We went to Mirnograd, and then we went closer to Avdiivka to meet that unit, and we pulled. I think we only hit like 3 checkpoints where we had to stop. But they take our passport and they look at they just literally looked at the U.S. seal and gave it back. You're good.
Exactly.
They care. No problem.
Care.
Yeah. You go ahead.
We were going to the zero line in Sumy, which is tough. Not because of there is artillery going on there, but more because of the DRG. The Russians are running around this side of the Ukrainian border constantly, killing civilians, killing Ukrainian soldiers, and it's hard to get through that checkpoint. And we were going there to meet our guys, and we were embedded with them. And I'll actually be there again next week. It's a once a week thing. I'm up there with those fellas, and we get to the last checkpoint, and it's just my partner and I in the truck, and he's talking to Genia. I haven't even pulled my passport out yet, and they're just talking back and forth. And we do have the right to run the passwords if we want to, but we try to not. We just like to kind of go step by step and only pull the aces out when you need them. But he's talking to him, and then the border guard goes, and he was speaking Russian, not Ukrainian. He goes, or the block post guy goes, "Let me see your passport." So mine's right here in front of me. So I just pull it out and open it up. And he sees the American passport and he goes, okay, I have a question. And he's speaking Russian. So he doesn't understand that I understand.
Yep.
He's speaking Russian. And to Zhenya, he goes, okay, I have a question. You got this American here. So evidently you're driving. This is the conversation.
Yep.
So evidently you're driving him somewhere to do something. So my question for you is, how do you talk to him? Because he speaks English. And Zhenya says, back in Russian, what do you mean, how do I talk to him? Well, this is how I talk to him. And he turned to me and spoke in perfect English. And then I responded in perfect English. And the guy goes, oh, wow. But then it got deeper. So I then spoke to the block post guard in perfect Russian. I said, well, how do I talk to him? And Zhenya goes, well, you speak in perfect Russian. That guy was turned on his head. And now every time we go through that block post, every time, it's not even a passport. Oh, those guys, let's go. You develop that, and it's just beautiful.
What are you doing today on this Sunday now? It's Sunday morning where you're at, correct? Are you going
It is Sunday morning.
What are your plans today?
Okay, my plans today are, when I am concluded with this stream with you, I am going to go out. I've got about a 9-mile jog. And
9-mile jog?
Come on. Yeah.
It's a distance.
9 miles.
It's a distance for a jog.
Well, I'm going to knock that down to about 9 inches and jog from here to my bed.
There you go. I was about to say, you've been training for a marathon or something. All right, go ahead.
So today I've got get some rest, and then our warehouse air shipment, the $78,000 worth of med supplies, is being inventoried tomorrow. So I'll swing by and see the guys counting that and take a peek and do a little video to update the community. Thirdly, I'm doing a video for Warthog tomorrow. He had asked me to please make him a video from the front and to show his people, because he helped us at the beginning. I was helping him when he lost his channel. I called the lady in the House of Representatives I know, and I think she got involved. He got his channel back, and then he messaged me and goes, man, thank you. I want to make this up to you. I said, man, you don't even know if I did it. He goes, well, I know who you called, so it had something to do with it. I said, well, maybe. And he goes, well, I'd like to help you out, help your community grow. You need more subscribers because what you're doing is like crazy good. So when you're in Ukraine, would you make me like an 8-minute frontline video of just some of the work? And I just want to highlight it and tell people to get behind it. So I've got all the footage. Now I'm just going to make the video tomorrow. And then tomorrow night I'm hopping on Rick's stream. Monday, we finish servicing our vehicle and loading it. Tuesday morning, we roll out bright and early. We'll head to Kyiv, and then we'll head to Sumy.
Oh, you're heading right to Sumy, huh?
Yeah.
I was outfitting more frontline troops out there then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Already ready to go.
Well, final thoughts, Greg. It's been an amazing 2 hours of conversation. Again, it's early morning for you. Like Starsky had to go to bed. I want you to get some sleep. So
Thank you, brother.
Give some final thoughts to the stream. Anything you want to get off your chest?
Well, the final thoughts is it's going to be the same thing I said on Shields earlier. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. I follow your work. And, the thing that made me the happiest was because Pete and I are now good friends. I'm going to see him every week. And when he did that video and he kneeled down by that truck, and on that label on that back door, it said Mercado Media. And I said, okay. At that moment, I knew that you were legit and somebody I'd want to make a friendship with and partner with and work together with. We have similar interests. I am a gamer. I'm a Call of Duty monster.
There you go.
And yeah, I do enjoy that with my son.
We gotta get Greg in the war zone with us, you guys.
Okay,
when he gets back.
When I get back,
we're
going on to war zone.
Yeah,
ready to roll. And, I appreciate you for your service to my country. That is invaluable to me. I wanted to be in the United States Marines, had the guy come to my house in 1990. I was born this way. I'm a professional piano player as well. And the guy who was recruiting for the Marines looked at me and says, "Man, you know what? You pass everything, everything's golden, but I can't take you because of your left hand." Now today that wouldn't be a problem most likely, but then it was in 1990.
Yeah.
So I looked at him, and my mom and dad were sitting there, and I looked at him, and I said, "I'll tell you what, can we make a deal about this? Because I really want to join the Marines. And what if we go out in the front yard and I kick your ass? If I kick your ass in the front yard, will you let me join the Marines?" And he says, "No, but you're exactly who I would want. Let's go out there and fight." I mean, it was really good. But my grandfather, World War II veteran, he was on the Missouri Battle Group when Japan surrendered. He was also in the Cuban Bay Missile Crisis with the famous picture of the destroyer, and the United States soldiers are standing on the destroyer and the Russian sub pops up. That's my grandfather is one of those guys. So I love my country. I don't like what is happening in my country right now, but I love my country, and I honor those who have served it. So I pay the same respect and honor to you. I also give thanks to all of your incredible audience and your community and followers, and I just thank you. And this is the way it happens. It's community driven. For me, it's about making friends and working together with like-mindedness, like thoughts, like interest, and making a real difference. And I mean, from this day forward, I consider you a friend, man. So thank you.
Absolutely, Greg. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for the support.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time, and I hope you get a good night's sleep and you come on the show again
Yeah.
in the future. You can share more updates.
Oh, we'll be hooking up. When will you be back in Ukraine?
I'm hoping for May. I'm shooting for May. I'm in I'm going to be moving into a new place, and I got to save money. And you know how expensive it is to get there. So
I do.
Yeah, I saved
Well,
up.
I'll tell you what. We will get a time when our times run together, and we'll make a run.
All right. Yeah, I would like
put you
to.
in my we'll put you in my apartment right in Henderson, right on the river. It's
Yeah.
quite spicy.
Yep. I'll bring. I got my armor is actually
I know you do.
It's still in Kyiv actually. My front and my rear armor. So or my plates.
Beautiful.
So I just gotta grab them and I'm good. All right,
Awesome.
Greg. Thank you. You have a good night's sleep.
You. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to all of your community. I think you guys are called the hold it. My mind is not working at 5 a.m. Rick is the Rollers, and you are the
for Travelers now.
The Travelers. That's it. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So big shout out to the Travelers. Thank everybody.
They travel with me, so I figure it's a great name there for them.
It is. Thank everybody for the kind comments.
Where can people follow you? What is your platform? Because you have a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, Greg Terry Experience.
Is that the only social media you really use right now for your postings?
I dabble in Twitter a little bit, but no, I'm so focused on that. But trying to put all my efforts there because I really want people to see the work in action.
Yeah.
And so many people are donating, and in the beginning of the war, they donated to large organizations that they thought the help would get to the front, and it didn't. But now grassroots efforts like it's yours, Rick's, mine, others, whoever's doing this, when that trust gets built, when somebody donates to buy a tourniquet, for example, and then I take that tourniquet and I walk up to a frontline soldier and he's got a Chinese piece of crap on his Bronek, on his body armor, and I take it off of him. And I say, this is your backup. Here's your number one now. And I put that genuine Cat 7 on him. It not only makes him feel cared for and appreciated, but the person who bought that tourniquet, it puts a smile on their face because I say it this way. You stick with us. You watch the videos. You help donate. I will be your eyes and your ears and your hands and your feet, and you'll be with us all the way. And we get it done. So, so Greg Terry Experience.
Thank you.
Easy to find.
Thank you so much for your time, Greg. Again, have a good night's sleep.
Thank you, Andrew.
And be safe.
You too, buddy.
All right.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye,
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Good night.
All right, y'all. Great conversation with Operator Starsky and Greg Terry. Operator at Starsky tuned out like 10, 15 minutes ago to go to bed because it's 5 in the morning in Ukraine right now. 5 in the morning with Ukraine. So again, we had just a great conversation with Greg and operator Starsky. As you guys know, we were going through it. We talked about it. Ukraine has withdrawn from Avdiivka. Putin hails it an important victory after like 10 years of trying to take the suburb of Avdiivka north of Donetsk, right? And it's another, I can't never say the word correctly. It starts with a P, but it's the same type of victory that they were trying to get in Bakhmut, and they did get it. But here it's coming at less of a loss to Ukraine, right? Because Ukraine was already facing manpower shortages. They were facing artillery shortages, like operator Starsky talked about. So, and I had already mentioned it in my map update video, and I will on Monday again, that I felt pulling out of Avdiivka was the right move, and I was hoping that they were going to. I was hoping they were going to, and I mentioned it many times, and they did today. They fully pulled out. A couple days ago, they got the soldiers out of this pocket, and then now today there was a full pullout of Avdiivka, and that's why you're seeing the city fully yellow and red now on our map, because Russia has moved in. Russian President Vladimir Putin called the capture of Avdiivka an important victory after Ukraine's military chief on Saturday said his troops withdrew from the devastated town in the east of the country after months of intense combat. Although the Russian Defense Ministry said that Ukrainian units were still entrenched at the town's coke plant, the advance on Avdiivka was Moscow's biggest advance since it took the city of Bakhmut last year. It came days before the second anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion on Ukraine, and amidst Ukraine's acute shortages of ammunition, with fresh U.S. military aid delayed for months in Congress. Really quick, speaking of the anniversary, I mentioned to you guys that I'm not going, did I? No, I didn't mention to you guys yet. I'm not going to Florida anymore. I canceled my vacation today completely, like entirely. I'm not going because number one, like I mentioned, like even while we're sitting here, the stream cut, right? Bottomed out. You guys lost connection. It's a common problem, and I'm sick of it. So I'm trying to save up for a new place. But two, I'm going to be going to an event now in DC. I got to buy a flight. I actually can just transfer my. This is the second time I've canceled a Florida trip for something Ukraine related. My first time was on my birthday in Ukraine. Now I'm going to Washington, DC, because there's an event taking place on the 24th and also here in Minnesota. And I have a photojournalist that I messaged from 2020 that I have. His name's Chris. And I'm also going to be messaging a streamer in Minnesota if they can attend the Minnesota event, because there's a 2-year anniversary event in Minnesota as well at the Stone Arch Bridge. If you guys live in Minnesota, on February 24th at 5:45 p.m. Okay, write this down or screen record or whatever. I'll mention it I'll mention it all week, so that way if you live in Minnesota, you can try to get to it. But the Ukrainian, there's a organization in Minnesota that's gathering at the Stone Arch Bridge at 5:45 p.m. I won't be there, but I'm going to have a photojournalist there and hopefully a streamer I know in Minnesota to stream on my platform for me at the event while I'm in Washington, D.C., because I'm going to be there at the 3:30 event doing video. Likely won't be able to stream there because I've already tried many times in the past, and it's just horrible connection to try to do a live stream out there, especially if there's a lot of people. But I will be doing high quality video there, and Dylan will be there, and many other people you guys know that have been covering Ukraine will also be there. So also going to be trying to do some connections, meeting people, talking to people, maybe some interviews out there. We'll see what we got. I want to try to leave on Friday, which means no stream Friday. But I'm going to be shooting to leave Friday morning so I can get there, get settled in. And then Saturday, I'm just ready to go for the rally in March. Man, I haven't streamed a March in a long time. This is the only content I used to do, was rallies and marches for 2 years straight. And now I've been sitting here on the computer talking about geopolitics with you guys and learning how to do that. But it's going to be nice to go back to what I'm really comfortable with, which is IRL reporting in real life stuff. And again, this is having to do with the Ukraine. Again, this is going to be at the Lincoln Memorial, 2 p.m. And then we're meeting at the Russian ambassador's residence right afterwards. So I am going to go to this. I'm going to schedule book my whole thing this week and then get that thing taken care of so that way I can go. If you guys want to support this trip, support my YouTube channel, support my whatever, however, PayPal. Don't pay. I haven't been advertising my Patreon because it's been taking pro-Ukraine commentators down. Like Arthur Raid lost it, and then a few others did. But supporting my YouTube channel here, and again, PayPal and other ways to support my reporting stuff, because I actually go places and bring you guys with, and that costs money to do so. So if you don't feel obligated to do so, thank you for all of your support, and I can't wait to get out there on Saturday. So no more Florida trip. I'll go to Florida maybe next year or something, or go to Disney for my 32nd birthday, because I don't think I'm gonna have time to go anywhere for my birthday this year. It's gonna be a very busy year, covering the U.S. elections and just the nightmare that we're in right now. Russian losses as of February 17th, 1,000 troops. And that's coming off of the seizure of Avdiivka, right? They're still losing thousands in that fight. So they're at 401,350. They passed the 400,000 mark. 16 APVs, 18 vehicles and fuel tanks, 11 tanks, 28 artillery systems, 5 UAVs, 3 multiple launch rocket systems, 1 cruise missile, and 5 special equipment. That is Russian losses as of February 17th. All right, some of my bookmarks from Twitter. I might do, like I mentioned with Starsky, going through some of the bullshit on this platform. I think I might have a segment where we go through my bookmarks of the day. And this is like where I just bookmark toasty shit. And like I'm just seeing craziness, right? And one thing I didn't talk about with Starsky, and I didn't get to it, was Navalny. And Navalny being killed, and I put out the breaking news report about it, and Putin, and it's not much else to talk about, right? With it, Putin killed him. He does it with all his dissidents and all of his political opponents. So you have Tucker Carlson in Moscow, kissing Putin's ass and showing how great their grocery stores are. Navalny was killed, and here's the response by Russian police to people that gathered in Russia to try to pay respects to Navalny. Like, perfect point, Noodle C. Instead of like being annoying, I know trolls are annoying, but they're here for a reason. They wouldn't be here if they didn't feel threatened, or if they didn't feel like this was a place that they needed to try to troll, right? If we were insignificant, they wouldn't be here. There's plenty of other platforms that talk about Ukraine. They don't have any trolls on them because there's nothing to troll. They're not making real impact, okay? That's why they don't troll there. They're trolling here because real impact is made here. All right? And then you go to the next one. That's the same video. So Russian Telegram channels report that photographer of... I have another one here. Telegram channels report photographer of Novoya Gazeta and a reporter from Rus News have been detained in St. Petersburg to the monument of victims. Well, that was crazy that they actually have a monument to victims of political repressions, and then when people gather at the monument to lay flowers, they get arrested for it. What a society. What a society. Like, why even have the thing then? Can't even lay flowers in Russia. Gulag. No, their police force is strong, huh? Their police force look like they're well fed, tall, strong, and then you look at the Russian military, and it's like they're sending, they're pumping them full of meth and other things, and they look like they're skeletons being sent out at the meat grinder.
Уважаемые граждане, в данном месте никакого публичного и иного мероприятия согласовано не было. Просьба покинуть место проведения несогласованного массового мероприятия. Уважаемые граждане, не мешайте проходу по тротуару.
To the gulag for gathering at the monument of political oppression for political oppression. Insane. Here they are, right? Oh, here, Moscow, Tucker at the Moscow station. right? We watched. That's a funny one, but we'll get to that in a minute. Tucker Carlson, right, at the Moscow Railway.
One of the ways you understand a society is going to ask the question.
Right? We saw that video, and they showed how magical it was. Right? Remember with the ridiculous music, with the Russian music in the back? And then where's the bookmark? Okay, real Moscow metro station. Craziness, crazy times. I had one for that's a good video, but I want to wait. So after that, and the other video, I didn't play this either. If you haven't seen this, it's so much. I have to like it. I think I'm gonna ramble a lot with my bookmarks because I'm bookmarking these for a reason, and my brain is just all over the place because I'm either roasting things or I think it's funny or it's just misinformation. So like, bear with me. But look at this from Tucker Carlson, just 18 seconds of just looking like a clown. Looking like an absolute fucking clown, bro.
All right. Here we go. So I guess you put in 10 rubles here and you get it back when you put the cart back. So it's free, but there's an incentive to return it and not just bring it to your homeless encampment. Okay. All right.
Things that we have had in America for the past 20 years. Alex, hello? Wow, so magical. 10 rubles in there. Boy, in Mall of America, they have ones with the child seat in the front of it. So you can have your children in like a race car or something, and then you push the cart. And you pay money, you pay a quarter, and then you get it back. Had it. Ben had that one. Oh, look at Russia, how amazing. This is sad. And that's exactly what it is. He's trying to sell Russia to his audience as if it's this utopia. As if it's just this wonderful place, and oh man, the Western brain can only comprehend this one. It's full on propaganda mode for Tucker Carlson. He's not. You're not coming back from that one. He's never going to. Can we all agree that Stephen Colbert is right? Stephen Colbert had a moment on air the other night.
I know how numb we've become, but it's not normal. No other candidate for the presidency has ever had to pause his campaign to defend himself in multiple courts. And I would like to point out that in all 7 of his cases, no one doubts that he did these things.
This is coming off of the news of Donald Trump, which I didn't go. Listen, my internet was gone yesterday. There was a lot that came out. It's okay. We'll go through it in a second.
We're just sitting around patiently waiting to find out if the wheels of justice will grind fast enough for there to be any consequences. And the media is covering it like it's any other political story, like it's all horse race. I know.
Yeah, that's true. But we're waiting for the wheel, just as if it's right. And that annoys me the most with it. That annoys me the most of it is like people are watching it like it's a football game. Like, oh man, we gotta wait, see what happens next. And it's like Trump's waiting for that. He's like, he lives off of that. He's a guy he's a Hollywood guy, like a showman. It's all for him. He feeds off of it. He feeds off of the media attention and everything with that. But it came after Donald Trump took a fat L, $354 million. Got to pay that. Judge Ngoran has offered, and I posted a good video with that one.
A hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a face of somebody who needs you.
354. I can't know shit. I don't know who has 354 million for fraud. Apparently Donald Trump does. So Donald Trump's got to pay that one. Destiny posted a good meme. Me trying to find a reaction to Navalny's death from the biggest fan of free speech on this one. Telling you, we're like killing Elon on his own platform. That's why I'm kind of worried. He's probably gonna like silence all of us eventually. Like I have a feeling I'm not gonna last very long on X, you guys. We're gonna get destroyed on this platform. He's gonna start crushing opposition. It's gonna happen. It's the playbook. It's the blueprint. Anyone that speaks out against him, and he's already gaming his own tweets. They have meetings at X over Elon's own. I didn't save the bookmark, but I read it. Elon's own Twitter account, because he's not getting enough engagements because people aren't reacting to his tweets. He literally has the entire X engineer team meet between like the hours of 11 p.m. and midnight to ask them why his tweets aren't getting as much attention as they used to be or they should be. It's insane. And they've also found ways to game the community notes, because if you downvote a community note hard enough, it will get removed. So bot farms and troll farms are now being programmed to do just that. So even though community notes are a thing and they can own people, right? And if you get noted, you got a big community note saying this is bullshit underneath your post, it's kind of embarrassing and kind of funny, but people have found a way to get rid of that. What a platform. What a platform here on X, on this Elon Musk platform. And final video today, our worst fears have been confirmed. This is something right out of a movie, but it's being quoted by Task and Purpose from movies. Check this out from Brigadier General Patrick Ryder at the Pentagon press briefing.
Thank you. Let me go to the phone here. Jeff Shogel, Task and Purpose.
Thank you. I know this may be a question for Soviet Premier Putin, but the god-awful thing that the Russians want to put into space, is it like GoldenEye, the thing from the 1995 Bond movie? And is it time for all of us on the ground to join Jed and the Wolverines?
Jeff, I'm not sure how to respond to that. I guess we just have to live and let die.
Live and let die. What an answer, though.
All right.
Live and let die, bro. You could have had something better for that, Patrick Ryder. Kind of is like, oh shit, maybe we should join the Wolverines. You guys don't know what that is. Was it Patrick Swayze? No, the Wolverines. What's the name of the fucking what's the name of the movie though? Red Dawn. Is it gonna let me react to the trailer? It should. It should be fine. Fucking Russians are coming, y'all. When did this movie come out? Late 80s? Back when like the crowd that this movie was for are now like simping for Vladimir Putin now. It's crazy. The same crowd, the same target audience for this movie. It's just so ironic now. I like it though. No foreign army. Look at that, ain't coming for our McDonald's. Swear to God, has ever occupied American soil. Until now.
What's going on here, my friend?
This is the emergency broadcast system. We are under attack by conventional forces of the Russian army. It is believed the lead waves were disguised as commercial charter flights. Communications have broken down with other parts of the country. Large areas of the Midwest may have been overrun.
Oh no.
They know who all of you are. They're looking for you.
You're 40 miles behind enemy lines.
I just want to go home. Took a lot of people away.
It's funny, all the equipment you see the Russians use in this movie, they use it right now in real life too.
Where's my dad, Mr. Eckert?
Want to love somebody, Andy. You're gonna die before it happens.
George!
They're gonna kill us.
All of us!
So why should we be different?
So why should we be different?
Because we live here!
Got him.
Not bad for a bunch of kids, huh? Mama'd be real proud.
Mama would be real proud.
Wolverines!
Red Dawn. They spray painted a tank, right? That says Wolverines in real life. Real Wolverines Russian tank. I think Ukrainian spray painted it on there. Yeah. Wolverines. There, it's on that one. It's on a couple of things. Right there. Right. So that's what that reference is from. It's from the Red Dawn movie. And from that phone call. We're gonna have to join and then of course you got GoldenEye. These are like all the. I grew up with these movies. That's why, like, boy, I just never thought to, in our media about what Russia is. Like, they've always, to me, Russia's always been our enemy, and the fact that like, people are confused now, and they're like, I trust Vladimir Putin more than our own American president. Like, you're cooked. That is beyond heaven and. Boy, that's not a. You're trying to be. You're not even trying to be edgy. These people actually believe that. HD. Oh man, this movie came out when I was born already.
When the world is the target.
72 hours.
In a world where nothing mattered.
A secret weapon system was detonated over Severnaya.
And the threat is real.
GoldenEye exists. A radiation surge that destroys everything with an electronic signal.
That's that Russian nuclear satellite they're putting up there. It's going to be GoldenEye.
You can still depend on one man.
I want you to find
James Bond.
Find who took it. 2. And stop it.
1.
Okay, best is obviously best is going to be the video game here, in my opinion, too. GoldenEye video game is legendary.
James Bond. The world's most famous secret agent is back.
We aim to please.
We aim to please.
007 is facing the ultimate enemy. The man who knows him best.
Hello, James.
Uh-oh.
Pleasant surprise.
006.
What's the message?
Uh-oh.
Pithy comeback?
He was your friend. And
Fucking Boromir showed up.
enemy and you will kill him.
Is the satellite in range? Target is London.
Now, the entire world is about to be caught in the crossfire.
Maybe we need more movies. Maybe we need James Bond to fight the Russians again. I think that's what it is.
James.
Americans need this. All right? Hitting Americans with facts is boring. That shit's boring. No one wants to sit and listen to it. No, they want action. They need to see Americans like again, make Red Dawn remade or something. Remastered. Red Dawn 2024 or something. I don't know. That is like the way that you can reach Americans, actually. It's a good movie. Nothing will convince an American like a good movie. Tell you what.
Kill him.
The pleasure will be all mine.
Did you check her out? Head to toe.
3 clicks, arms the fuse. Don't say it.
The writing's on the wall?
Grow up, 007.
I think you're a sexist.
To grow up, 007. Red Dawn was already a remake? Okay, well then they need to remake the remake, dude. Clearly it's not, that message isn't hit home yet.
You know, James, I was always better.
Both of you, stop.
Ukraine is living out Red Dawn in real life, but it's in Ukraine.
You like boys with toys.
Trick is to quit while you're
Oh shit.
I wouldn't think of it.
Charming, sophisticated.
The remake sucked.
Shaken but not disturbed.
Get us out of here.
In a KA-52.
The man just won't take a hint.
Is he driving a T-72 in that?
You don't need the gun.
That depends on your definition of safe sex.
On November 17th, United Artists brings you,
Trust me,
James Bond.
Damn.
Can't you just be a good boy and die? That's one trick I've never learned.
It's one trick I've never learned. One-liners. I need to bring those back. That shit. But apparently we're gonna have GoldenEye in the space anyways, and the world will continue to turn as the world continues turning. All right, that's gonna be it for me tonight, you guys. That's it. No other news updates. I am gonna be live on my gaming channel, as I always am. Or you said Traveler TV, Red Dead Redemption 2, Part 6. Having a blast. We played Skull and Bones earlier. Right now, it's like mid, in my opinion. I think it's mid. It got better as the more I played, but I don't know if there's more of a ceiling to where like I got to. But right now, it's at mid level. It's a mid to all right. But Red Dead Redemption 2 though is legendary game. So come on over, you guys. Check it out. Red Dead Redemption 2 right over here on Traveler TV. We'll be playing Skull and Bones during the daytime, which is the pirate game. All right, it's nothing like Black Flag. It's not Assassin's Creed at all. It's it's a pirate ship simulator, basically, is the best way I can put it. All right, you guys, but come on over, check it out. Great conversation today with Pastor Greg Terry and Operator Starsky. Had 2 hours of conversation, went through the latest news here from Ukraine. I'll have videos back on the channel on Monday. Daily videos, daily streams. We'll be live all next week. I'm not going on a vacation, so I'll be home and streaming. And then Friday and Saturday, we'll be going to Washington, D.C. to meet up with other NAFO fellas, other Ukraine supporters with Razom from Ukraine. And I'll be reporting on a march and a subsequent rally. So make sure you guys tune in this weekend as well. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new. Hope to see you guys over on my gaming channel right after this, Traveler TV. See you guys then. Thank you to all the members. Thank you for all the support with the super chats. You guys are absolutely amazing supporting independent media here on Mercado Media. Have a wonderful night. Slava Ukraine, and Vladimir Putin, do fuck off.
Revenge is a must, where one heads get buried in dust. 6 foot deep, when I live a boy underdog, yeah, and I meet with that cost. Payback time, I show no remorse. On my guy, Casala go bust. Bad mind them, they come in like Judas. One see me on the nail and cross. Everybody listen, time on the way, the clock to tick. Everybody listen, time on the way, the clock to tick. Revenge is a must, where one heads get buried in dust. 6 foot deep, when I live a boy underdog, yeah, and I meet with that cost. Revenge is a must. I want them, I seek repent and I want them. Revenge is a must, where one heads get buried in dust. I want them, I seek repent and I want them. Revenge is a must, where one heads get buried in dust. Revenge is a must, where one heads get buried in dust. 6 foot deep, when I live a boy underdog, yeah, and I meet with that cost. Payback time, I show no remorse. On my guy, Casala go bust. Bad mind them, they come in like Judas. One see me on the nail and cross. Revenge is a must.
I got ice in my veins, loaded guns, I'm insane. Fight for peace in my land, enemies sliding dead. I get shit with my troop, pirate tanks, bulletproof. We attack, we don't play. Don't fuck with Ukraine. Don't fuck with Ukraine. Don't fuck with Ukraine. Don't fuck with Ukraine. You can try to invade avoid fucking snakes. Be aware of the beasts that will tear you in peace. We attack, we don't play. Don't fuck.